Hey everybody, this is your girl, Mrs. Toy Banks, the world's most satisfied wife. That's right, I'm satisfied. And today I want to share with you another reason why I'm so satisfied and a way that you can be satisfied in your marriage as well. I realize that oftentimes in marriages, we are doing a lot of this. You're the problem. You're the problem. Wouldn't you like to be a problem too? I mean, we are pointing the finger at one another and we are doing the blame game all the time, but we never turn it inside and turn the fingers toward ourselves and say, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing to make this situation worse? What did I say? How could I have said it better? Or maybe I shouldn't have did this. Do we ever internalize it and discover exactly what we could have done to resolve the problem? So one of the things I've decided to do in my marriage, and that is I carry this around. Now, of course, I don't literally carry it around, but I carry a magnifying glass around with me, an invisible one. And what I do is I am checking myself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? Sometimes you just need to check yourself. Check you out. Check your attitude. I hear oftentimes we say we argue all the time. Well, guess what? It takes two people to argue. So why don't you stop arguing? Why don't you stop trying to get the last word? Why don't you stop trying to get revenge? God says in the word, he says, first, before you go to try to wipe the smut out of somebody else's eye, why don't you get the smut that is in your eye first? Won't you wipe it out of your eye first? So why don't you wipe your nasty attitude up? Why don't you forgive? Why don't you say I'm sorry first? Why don't you seek peace? Why don't you do the right thing? Oftentimes we'll say, well, he did that, so I did this. Well, guess what? God is still going to hold you accountable for what you do. I don't care what that other person did. How you respond to it is how you respond to it. You can say all day, you made me do that. You know what? You sound like somebody that's been abusing somebody. You know how a man is beating. We've seen movies where a man would say to the woman that he's abusing, he'll say, you made me beat you. Really? So I made you beat me. I made you punch me in my face. Okay. Yeah, think again. So a lot of times that we're doing that same thing in relationships. You made me cuss you out. You made me do it. I wouldn't have did this if you wouldn't have did that. Well, no, we don't respond in that way. That's not how we do things in marriage. Listen, if you want to protect your marriage, if you want to have a successful marriage, if you want to have a marriage of peace, love, and joy, you're going to have to pull out one of these. And you have to carry it around with you every day, all day, so that you can wipe the smut out of your eye first and check yourself. Check your attitude. Well, how did you say it? If someone's upset, know this. In a marriage, the only problem you'll ever have in your marriage is a need problem. You don't meet mine and I don't meet yours. The problem is most people don't know their own needs and they don't know the needs of their own spouse. And that's where we fall apart. I have videos out that take you through the 5 needs of a man and the 5 needs of a woman. You need to check that out on my YouTube page. But you need to discover what your spouse's needs are, because whenever he's fussing, whenever he's arguing, whatever, or he or she is not, if your husband is fussing, or if your husband and your wife is upset, there's a need that she is missing out on. And guess whose problem that is? Yours. It's your job to find out what is the core problem. What is the root of the problem? Because a lot of times we're really talking about a lot of mess when we're not dealing with the root of the problem. And oftentimes we don't want to deal with confrontation in our relationship. So we just so-called let it go. But we really never let it go. We just let it stack and build and build. And one day you look outside, you have this big mountain of troubles. And it has nothing to do with the stuff on the top of the mountain, but it has everything to do with the root. Down to the foundation of that mountain lies the problem. That problem you decided to look over. That problem that you became selfish in and prideful, you weren't going to say you sorry. Wipe the smile out of your eye. God says, listen, you're going to get persecuted. And sometimes that may be in marriage. Sometimes you're going to get upset. But God says, forgive. Forgive again. And then keep on forgiving. Because who you won't forgive, God won't forgive you. You mean to tell me you're not going to let that go? You're going to spend 2 years in the same problem? What is wrong with y'all? We're going to deal with the same problem for 2 years, 3 years. Same issue. We're not going to go get counseling. No one's going to speak up and say, listen, I'll be the bad person. I'll be the wrong person. No one's going to get over it. There it is. Wipe it out of your eye. You can, if you want peace in your marriage, oh, you can have it. You can have peace in your marriage. You surely can. But it's going to start with you. It's going to start with you. So I advise you, this is the best and most powerful weapon you can use in your marriage. And that's a magnifying glass. And you put it on yourself. And you find out, how can I be the solution to my problem? How can I be the solution to my marriage's problem? How can I satisfy my husband? How can I satisfy my wife? You got to open your mouth, you the spouse, whether you the husband or the wife that is watching this. You have to look at yourself and say, how can I bring peace to this situation? What can I do? Sometimes you're going to have to swallow your pride. Sometimes you are going to have to apologize first. And you know what? You didn't really do the wrong thing. But guess what? You're seeking after peace. Sometimes you're going to have to make amends with family members and all the other stuff that comes in marriage. You're going to have to step out and be the bigger person. Starts with you. I believe in the power of one. And I believe that you can change your marriage if you understand how to do it. And it all starts with you showing love. Listen, God says, I love you yet while you were in sin. He still loved us. So even while your spouse is rude, nasty, mean, whatever they're doing, God said, love them, even while they are in sin. Even while they're in sin, you are still held accountable to righteousness. Even if they're wrong, not coming home, just doing all types of crazy stuff. You are still held accountable about how you respond to every situation in your marriage. Listen, if you even read the story, just go back and just read the story of Adam and Eve. When God came back to face them after they sinned, he asked them, what have you done, Adam? What have you done, Eve? They both were punished for what they did, but they both did exactly what we're doing today, and that is the blame game. It was him. It was her. That's what we're doing. It was that devil. The devil made me do it. Really? You cut it out. Cut it out. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you are going to be the one that suffer the consequences because you made a decision to respond outside of the will of God. Listen, marriage can be amazing. It really can. But it really starts with you. So I advise you, go now and make peace in your marriage today. Go apologize first. Go rub your husband's back. Rub his feet. No matter what he's been doing, just go and be a blessing to him. And I promise you that as you continue to do what God told you to do as a wife, as a husband, then God is going to bless you. I know it's going to be tough. I'm telling you, it's not going to feel good. You're not going to want to do it. Okay? But guess what? God says, I called you to love the unlovable. And sometimes a lot of you are in relationships that are very unlovable. But you need to make a decision on what you're going to do. Are you going to stay or are you going to go? But whatever you do, whether you stay or go, you must operate in forgiveness. You must seek peace. Don't act crazy. Take the smut out of your eye and operate in peace, whether you're staying or whether you're going. But don't go back and forth with it. Make a decision. Ask God to help you. Pray. Seek God for his direction. And I promise you, as you seek him, you will find him. Well, hey guys, that's it right now. Well, I'm Mrs. Toy Banks, the world's most satisfied wife, keeping my eye clean so that I can be a blessing to my husband, but more than anything, that I can stay righteous in God's eyes, that I can please my Father in this life that he has so blessed me with. I thank you all. I'm in for Better Wife, Better Life, helping you balance it all. God bless you.